Welcome back everybody to the channel. The developments within Iraq's financial infrastructure right now could fundamentally alter the economic landscape. We are focusing on the new 50 dinar banknote, which many financial observers are labeling as the bridge to prosperity. The latest statements from Iraq's central bank leader suggest this is more than a simple currency adjustment. It could be the definitive precursor to a long-awaited revaluation. Stick with me through this entire segment, because grasping the true significance of this bridge note will reveal why so many believe the financial destiny of Iraq and its connected stakeholders is on the verge of a significant upward trajectory. The narrative begins with a major event that is captivating the entire dinar investment community. The Central Bank of Iraq has formally confirmed the introduction of the 50 dinar note as a component of its continuous monetary reform strategy. While this might initially sound like a routine currency release, its underlying meaning is far from ordinary. This action is the culmination of months of detailed strategy, economic blueprinting, and silent preparation for what insiders term a rate calibration phase. The profound importance of this singular banknote stems from the principle that smaller denominations are typically rolled out just before a currency appreciates. Low-value notes are not introduced when money is weak. They are released when the national economy has achieved a position of strength and readiness. This is precisely the scenario unfolding in Iraq today. For numerous years, both analysts and investors have closely observed Iraq's methodical process of economic reconstruction, the bolstering of its oil trade, and the modernization of its banking networks. However, a distinct shift has recently emerged. The official discourse from Iraq's financial authorities has adopted a new, resolute tone. The central bank governor openly discussed finalizing the framework for value, stability, and economic transition. This language is not ambiguous. In straightforward economic terms, it signifies that the country is completing the necessary setup for a new epoch where its currency genuinely reflects its actual economic might. When a central bank employs terms like value stability, it is understood as a code for our testing phase is concluded and we are prepared for global integration. Consequently, the 50 dinar note is dubbed the bridge because it links the previous reality of Iraq's low-value system to a future defined by confidence and strength. To simplify this, let's break it down into understandable terms. The dinar currently circulates primarily with large banknotes, such as the 25,000 and 50,000 denominations. These large number notes are practical when the currency holds very little value, requiring citizens to use them for even minor transactions. Conversely, when a nation successfully strengthens its currency, these massive bills rapidly become impractical for everyday commerce. Consider attempting to make a purchase in the US with a $50,000 note. It would be impossible. Therefore, smaller notes, like this new 50 dinar denomination, are introduced to facilitate a higher value financial structure. This vital role is why many are asserting that this new note is not merely a fresh piece of currency, but a tangible indication that Iraq is gearing up for the post-revaluation financial environment. The situation gains further complexity because reports indicate that the 50 dinar note is not being implemented in isolation. It forms an integral part of a carefully phased rollout strategy linked to Iraq's aggressive push toward a fully digital banking ecosystem. The nation has been partnering with global organizations to transition away from heavy cash transactions toward electronic systems, cards, mobile applications, and interoperable payment platforms. Smaller denominations are a perfect fit for this new structure because a digital economy doesn't necessitate enormous bills. Instead, it requires efficient denominations that are sensible when money possesses significantly greater purchasing power. Thus, the physical manifestation of this new note could be the clearest visible evidence that Iraq's entire financial system is being fundamentally recalibrated for a more robust and internationally accessible future. Now, let's consider timing, as it is the most critical factor. Observers have noted that this rollout is far from arbitrary. The Central Bank of Iraq is concurrently advancing several critical initiatives, updating its compliance standards to international norms, refining the existing exchange rate mechanisms and ensuring seamless coordination with global financial institutions. When all these essential components move forward in perfect synchrony, it typically signifies that the monetary reform process is reaching its climax. Historically, every time Iraq has restructured its currency framework, a rate adjustment has closely followed. Consequently, this could very well be a historical pattern repeating itself, but with signals that are more potent and meticulously aligned than ever before. Let's adopt a broader perspective for a moment. Iraq isn't simply engaging in currency printing. It is actively remodeling its entire economy from its foundations. The deployment of smaller denominations, such as the 50 dinar, is a profound expression of confidence in its future purchasing power. This mirrors the strategy employed by nations like South Korea and Japan during their currency modernization efforts decades ago, where they introduced bridge denominations immediately before their currencies achieved international stability. The objective was twofold: not just to simplify change, but to prepare the population for an economy with a higher value. Viewing Iraq's current action through this historical lens reveals that it's not just a domestic policy change, it's a national declaration of economic readiness. One of the most powerful recent pronouncements came directly from the CBI Governor himself, who stated, "Iraq is entering its final stage of monetary reform." This solitary phrase immediately resonated across financial markets. A central banker would not make such a definitive public statement unless the major foundational work was already complete. This is an individual who has navigated currency stability through conflict, hyperinflation, and reconstruction. For him to publicly assert that Iraq is in the final stage implies that the internal mechanisms, the data, the audits, and the banking infrastructures are fully synchronized for the next pivotal move. And that highly anticipated next move is likely to be the official revaluation. So what is the implication for dinar holders and investors who have been waiting patiently, or perhaps impatiently, for many years? It means that the visible indicators are no longer mere rumors. They are measurable actions sanctioned by official government bodies. When a government officially releases a smaller denomination and states it is part of a stability strategy, that constitutes policy execution, not speculation. And once a nation transitions into the execution phase, the question shifts from if to when. This is why meticulous attention is being paid to every new detail, every press release, and every new currency announcement originating from Baghdad right now. Furthermore, the international dimension cannot be overlooked. Behind the scenes, Iraq has been working extensively with global financial organizations to ensure total compliance with international standards. A nation does not introduce a new note or adjust exchange rates in a vacuum. It requires deep coordination with its trade partners, banking networks, and regulatory oversight agencies to ensure seamless integration into the global system. Emerging. Reports suggest that these international approvals are already in progress, with some possibly finalized. This is why experts are convinced that we are closer than ever to witnessing Iraq's currency re-enter the international stage. Let's now address the eagerly discussed term, the bridge to prosperity. Why has this banknote earned this moniker? Because its significance is not just symbolic. It embodies a fundamental transition. For decades, Iraq's economic story was one of instability, sanctions, and undervaluation. Now, with its energy sector flourishing, new trade agreements materializing, and foreign investors seeking entry, Iraq's economic base is finally achieving its true potential. The 50 dinar note serves as the bridge connecting that challenging past to a new chapter, a future where the Iraqi currency can stand confidently alongside other global currencies. It is more than just paper. It is a symbol of national evolution. This optimism isn't solely driven by hope. It is substantiated by concrete data. Iraq's foreign currency reserves are expanding, inflation is tightly managed, and digital infrastructure projects are concluding ahead of schedule. These events are not random occurrences. They are the essential preconditions for a nation preparing for comprehensive monetary reform. Simply put, Iraq is diligently completing every checklist item necessary to stabilize, strengthen, and eventually revalue its currency. The official release of the 50 dinar note could be the conclusive proof that all these coordinated efforts are converging in real time. Many commentators agree that this specific development feels distinct from previous periods of speculation. The difference lies in its nature. It is official, visible, and supported by clear government communication. There is a vast gulf between market speculation and official confirmation. When a central bank issues a formal statement, launches a new denomination, and publicly declares the final stages of reform, that constitutes confirmation. This is why the current moment carries more substance and credibility than any past wave of excitement. It is not founded on mere hope. It is grounded in tangible, verifiable evidence. So what is the projected sequence of events? The anticipated timeline is generally as follows. First, the 50 dinar note will be broadly distributed through Iraqi commercial banks. Next, the central bank is expected to publicly update its exchange rate framework, adjusting internal systems for the new structure. Following that, international banks, potentially including major U.S. institutions, could begin to reflect the new value in their internal systems. Once this global synchronization takes place, the international rate reveal becomes a practical possibility, the moment when global markets formally acknowledge the dinar's new value. Some intelligence suggests that certain financial centers and currency redemption facilities have already been privately instructed to maintain a state of high alert within precise short time frames. Whether this means hours or days remains unconfirmed, but the mere fact that these critical facilities are preparing is another powerful signal. Iraq's financial mechanism is operating with real-time coordinated movement, which only occurs when a significant, imminent event is on the horizon. For all those monitoring the dinar, the essential message is clear. Remain informed and exercise patience, because we may be witnessing the final elements of this financial puzzle slotting into place. Let's pause to fully appreciate the distance Iraq has traveled. 2 decades ago, a conversation of this nature would have been unthinkable. The national economy was crippled, infrastructure was devastated, and the currency was tethered by conflict and severe restrictions. Today, Iraq is actively rebuilding, engaging international partners, and establishing digital systems that are on par with those in developed nations. The introduction of the 50 dinar note is not merely a sign of financial progress. It is an enduring testament to national resilience, a powerful symbol that Iraq is finally reclaiming its financial autonomy. When the revaluation ultimately occurs, regardless of the precise moment, its impact will extend far beyond Iraq's borders. It is poised to influence global trade balances, significantly affect regional economies, and likely boost investor confidence in other emerging nations. Countries like Vietnam and Zimbabwe are closely observing Iraq's handling of this transition, because a successful move into a new value era could pave the way for similar reforms globally. This is why the significance of this moment transcends the national. It is fundamentally global. The next few weeks are anticipated to be decisive. Global attention will be focused on 3 primary indicators: the central bank's official announcement of a rate update, public declarations from Iraq's Ministry of Finance confirming economic readiness, and any visible activity among international banks that hints at rate alignment. When all 3 of these signs appear simultaneously, that is the moment when the bridge will be fully connected. Until then, maintaining patience and awareness are the most crucial actions. The financial transformation unfolding now is likely one of the most important currency shifts of this current decade. Before we conclude, it's essential to emphasize the necessity of managing expectations. Yes, the indicators are exceptionally strong. Yes, the 50 dinar note is a development of historic proportions. However, every currency revaluation, no matter how meticulously prepared, is rolled out with careful, controlled timing. Governments coordinate these complex moves across international boundaries to ensure stability. Therefore, while all elements appear aligned, it remains vital to await official, final confirmations before making any decisive moves. Despite the palpable excitement, staying grounded and well-informed will guarantee the best outcome when the financial bridge finally opens. So, here's the core takeaway. The 50 dinar banknote is far more than a simple currency adjustment. It is the clearest, most compelling signal yet that Iraq's central bank is ready to advance. The moniker "Bridge to Prosperity" flawlessly encapsulates its essence, connecting the older value system to a future characterized by stability, economic strength, and abundant opportunity. For everyone who has followed this journey, this could be the pivotal moment long anticipated. The signs are genuine, the momentum is undeniable, and the final countdown feels nearer than ever before. Thank you for tuning in to Iraqi Dinar News. If you found this analysis helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe, and activate notifications to ensure you don't miss any future updates. The revaluation story is still actively unfolding, and we will be here to track every single announcement, development, and clue. So remain vigilant, stay optimistic, and remember that this bridge is doing more than just connecting numbers. It is connecting people to a brand new future. We'll see you in the next update. Until then, be ready, because history might be closer than you think. An extraordinary event has occurred today. What the world once dismissed, mocked, and declared impossible has been undeniably converted into reality. The influential screens governing global finance in London, New York, Singapore, and Dubai have all simultaneously flashed a notification that rewrote financial history. The Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong are now officially operational on the global foreign exchange market. For years, a vast number of people held faith that this day would arrive, while others labeled it a mere fantasy for the overly hopeful. This morning, however, that fantasy became an uncontestable fact. History has been forged, and the global financial order will be permanently altered. We are not just witnessing a currency event. We are observing the rebirth of two nations, the reordering of global economics, and the vindication of long-suffering believers. Remain with us, as the details you are about to hear will be recalled for generations. When the initial faint indications surfaced in the pre-dawn hours, few took them seriously. Traders in London detected unusual market activity, observing minor currency pairs flickering with movements that defied standard trading logic. The IQD USD currency pair, which had been absent from major screens for years, briefly materialized on specialized private trading terminals. Initially, analysts dismissed it as a system error. However, the Vietnamese Dong then appeared, flashing on the screens in quick succession. A profound silence fell across the trading floors, the kind of silence that only precedes a historical moment. Within minutes, phones were ringing relentlessly, chat applications exploded with activity, and seasoned brokers paused in genuine disbelief. Could this truly be happening? By 4:15 a.m. GMT, the definitive confirmation began to flood in. The Central Bank of Iraq had successfully reinstated its currency onto the international financial stage. Mere moments later, Vietnam followed suit, completing the first simultaneous dual reinstatement in contemporary history. Across all international time zones, the shockwaves propagated swiftly. In Washington, D.C., analysts frantically sought clarity. Senior officials at the Treasury Department, the IMF, and top commercial banks entered emergency coordination meetings. One inside source described the atmosphere as one of controlled urgency. Screens updated in real time, and traders worldwide finally saw the moment they had awaited for decades. Live, fluctuating exchange rates for the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong. Financial centers globally rapidly adjusted to the new reality. The London Stock Exchange recorded substantial increases in the stock values of companies directly linked to Iraq's critical oil and infrastructure sectors. In Tokyo, shares of Vietnamese manufacturing firms surged by over 20% in a single trading session. Oil and gold markets became highly volatile, experiencing dramatic price swings as traders scrambled to recalculate commodity values based on the new currency rates. What began as a discrete currency reinstatement quickly escalated into a global financial storm, driven not by market fear but by transformative market forces. Within the U.S. Treasury Department, unconfirmed reports indicated a high-level emergency coordination meeting. Officials were diligently working to shape the global public narrative, aiming to prevent panic and maintain market composure. One analyst characterized the objective as managing perception. Rather than attempting to delay or deny the news, they allowed the market information to flow naturally. Their primary goal was to project confidence, not confusion. The world was beginning a new monetary chapter, and stability was the single most important word of the day. On various social media platforms, public emotions were running high. People shared photographic evidence of old dinar notes that had been carefully stored for years in drawers and lockboxes. Entire families were celebrating together, with many openly stating that this single day had changed their financial futures. One post emphatically stated, Everyone mocked me when I purchased these notes, now they are calling me. Another simply read, Faith won. For millions of believers globally, this was far more than profit. It was a profound validation of their years of patience. In the United States, specialized currency exchange centers were operating under maximum security. Some sources suggested that non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, were being presented to certain participants, particularly at the most exclusive private exchanges. Others hinted at the availability of specific contract rates for pre-approved clients. Although specific details remained largely opaque, one fact was certain. The process was occurring in real time. This was no longer abstract theory. It was a tangible reality unfolding hour by hour. Meanwhile, in Iraq, the Prime Minister addressed the entire nation. His powerful words resonated throughout every home. The Iraqi Dinar stands once more as the ultimate symbol of our sovereignty, our inherent strength, and our future. Crowds erupted in cheers. Fireworks illuminated the night sky. After enduring years of profound uncertainty and conflict, Iraq was actively reasserting control over its own national destiny. The moment was deeply emotional, historic, and powerfully unifying. Vietnam's government delivered its own message, firm, proud, and calm. This marks the spectacular rise of a powerful Vietnam, declared an official. We are honored and ready to join the global financial stage. Citizens were strongly encouraged to maintain calm, to trust the systemic process, and to hold on to their deep faith in the future. And they listened. For Vietnam, this represented more than mere economic growth. It was unreserved global recognition. The IMF later released a statement calling the dual event a global equalizer. Analysts suggested it could mark the very beginning of a more balanced and equitable world economy, one where the value of a nation's natural resources, production capacity, and population mattered more than pure market speculation. Both Iraq and Vietnam had been quietly and methodically building toward this moment for many years. Now the rest of the world was finally catching up to their efforts. As the hours passed, major commercial banks across Europe, the US, and Asia issued new financial guidance documents. Forex trading platforms experienced colossal spikes in traffic. Retail traders rushed into the market, eager to participate before the new rates became fully stabilized. Market experts issued stern warnings about potential volatility, urging significant caution. But the overwhelming excitement eclipsed all fear. The world was once again brimming with renewed economic possibility. And so, as darkness fell across the Asian continent, trading screens in financial centers across the globe glowed brightly. The quiet rumors that had first surfaced in trading rooms hours earlier had now become the loudest, most undeniable reality in the global market. It is finally happening. The moment that market skeptics had vehemently mocked had officially arrived. The currencies once dismissed as worthless were now actively rewriting the entire financial map. Today, history has emphatically turned a page. The dinar and the dong have dramatically ascended from the ashes of doubt into the brilliant light of financial reality. The global finance world is permanently changed, and those who held on to their faith, those who patiently waited, have been conclusively proven right. This is not the end of the story. It is the definitive beginning of a new era. Because when nations rise, currencies do more than just shift numbers. They deeply move hearts. They move futures. They profoundly move the very course of history. And as the first rays of sunlight break over Hanoi and Baghdad, one truth remains unshakable. The waiting is finally over. The dinar and the dong are back. The world will never be the same.